Well, hello everyone. It's great to be with you today, even if it is virtually by a pre-recorded video. My name is Barkley. I'm an assistant professor at Master's College and Seminary in Ontario, and I have the privilege of teaching the Old Testament prophets this upcoming year. Now, the purpose of this event is to give you a little bit of a heart behind the course. So I thought I'd share with you how I first became interested in the Old Testament prophets, and it was actually a case of buyer's remorse. See, Dallas Willard, Richard Foster, they were important people in my life, and in the early 2000s, they published the Spiritual Formation Study Bible, and I immediately knew that I wanted to read that. I wanted to have that. So I ordered it. It arrived, and I opened up the box, and as soon as I saw it, I had this sense of, now, I don't know if this was the Holy Spirit or if this is just my own guilt hitting me, but I thought to myself, I have a shelf full of Bibles that I probably don't read as much as I should, and here I bought another one. What am I doing? So I made this commitment between God and I said, I am going to choose the book in the Bible that I know the absolute least about and do a deep dive into it, really inhabit that book and allow it to form me. And the book I knew the least about turned out to be the prophet Ezekiel. So in 2005, I got some commentaries, I got my Bible out, I did some praying, and I ended up doing some writing on this, and I started writing devotions and publishing them on my blog, and month after month after month after month, a couple years later, 150 devotions later, I had really felt like I had taken my time with Ezekiel and internalized his message. And shameless plug, you can still read those devotions on stephenbarkley.com. But this is what gave me a taste for the prophets. And I went on. When it came time to do my doctoral work, I knew I wanted to do something with the prophets again. I studied practical theology, so I needed some way to bring the prophets into the present. So my study looked at the intersection of the Old Testament prophets and our own life and faith and practice and how those two collide. And I came to the conclusion that the way the Old Testament prophets experienced prophetic inspiration is actually quite similar to the way that we experience prophetic inspiration today. And I wrote about that in another shameless plug, my book, Pentecostal Prophets, if you're interested in those sorts of things. But listen, the prophets are difficult. They're hard to read. When people make those pledges to read through the Bible in a year, the first place they get stuck, of course, is Leviticus. Thankful I'm not teaching on Leviticus, that's for someone else. But the second place they tend to get stuck is the prophets, because there's so much doom and gloom, there's so much oppressive language and difficult things to get over. And it's my goal in this course to contextualize these prophets in such a way that their message shines through. They really had a simple message. You're going to die, but death is not the end. Right? That was the message. You've disobeyed God. You are going to pay the price for that. But God will ultimately never let you go. He is not willing to abandon his creation. So I'm looking forward, in fact, of all the courses I have the privilege of teaching at Master's College and Seminary and through the Horizon Seminary here, this is probably the course I'm the most excited about. So I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you in class.